Hi there, welcome back to the Architectures Bootcamp, the UI UX design track, and I want to cry right now. It's most likely our last video, and I'll be finishing the module 10 where we're talking about usability testing. In the previous video, we talked about usability testing as a whole, the introduction to usability testing, the types of user testing, and the user testing methods. In this video, we'll be covering what user testing is not, usability testing tools, and the usability testing steps. Usability testing enables us to understand how individuals experience a product's functionality. To better understand user behavior, designers employ various tools to run experiments, collect or visualize data. Examples of these tools are A and B testing, surveys, and heat maps. A or B testing. The idea behind this test is to create two versions of a product. The test group is divided into two, and each half gets a different version. While A or B testing is an experimentation method that helps in identifying the more viable of the two versions of products, usability testing also helps to identify usability issues that affect a user's experience of a product. Now we move to heat maps. This is a data visualization technique that shows the magnitude of users' interaction with a product in 2 dimensions. It shows how users move around a page by showing its hottest parts. Here is an example of an heat map on the right, where it's showing the magnitude of user interaction towards the left, and it shows how the user moves around a page with showing its hottest parts. The hottest parts are in red, and those parts without red or yellow were not accessed by the user. Usability testing tools. For heat maps, we use tools like Hotjar and ClickTail, and for A or B test, we use Adobe Test and Target, SurveyMonkey, and SiteGainer. Now we move to usability testing steps. The usability testing steps consist of 5 processes depending on the kind of test you want to carry out. Firstly, you have to define the test audience, and I'll be talking about all of these steps one after the other. The second step is to come up with test scenarios. The third is to plan the test. Then the fourth step is to actually perform the testing, and the fifth step is to fix and iterate. Define the test audience. Before testing, we need to determine the target audience. Our target audience during the empathy research, which was taken at the beginning of the design process, needs to be taken into consideration. For example, administering the test of an app for moms to men might produce inadequate testing results. The next step is to create your test scenarios. First off, you have to craft the scenarios. You write down the goals that the user would like to achieve with the product. Create scenarios that aligns with these goals, and the scenario should be clear enough for users to understand. Still in the scenarios, you have to list out the tasks to be carried out by the user. Identify the tasks that your users will perform in order to achieve this goal. For example, if your product's aim is to sell or order clothes, users should be able to first off sign into your product. Secondly, look for clothes, which is maybe search for them, and the last step is to order them, place an order. The list of tasks will be used for scoring during the test. Now you test these scenarios. An important advice is to test these scenarios with your colleagues before testing it on actual users. Then we move to the third stage or the third step in usability testing, which is the planning. And I mentioned before that it depends on the form of test you want to carry out. And there are two forms. We have the in-person form and the remote testing. And you have to plan in different ways for these forms of usability test. For in-person testing, you have to identify good locations for the test activity. You identify the needed tools for the test and prepare the test device. For identifying good location, let your target audience determine your location. For example, going to a nursery or a daycare center would be ideal for recruiting moms. Avoid places that are crowded and noisy. This will help participants to focus on the tasks without distractions. To identify your needed tools, you need to ensure necessary tools needed for the testing sessions on the test device are available. For example, you need to install prototypes on your device and make sure it works, or you and also you have to install screen recording software where needed. Prepare the device. Ensure that the device is free of distractions. For example, test device switch off the switch the test device to airplane mode as long as it does not hinder the internet connection required for testing. Now we move to the other form of testing, which is the remote testing. For the remote testing, you have to recruit your participants, you schedule training sessions, and you prepare the test device as well. Now we move to the actual testing, which is based on the two forms, which is in-person and or remote. For in-person, you have to approach people, introduce yourself, build a rapport with the participants, and you need to explain the purpose of the test, how the test process will work, and how long the testing will take. Also, you need to profile your subject. You ask relevant questions to help profile the user and make notes of your observation. And you need to describe the scenario and the tasks to be taken. While testing is going on, you need to observe. You encourage them to think out loud during the process. You do not interrupt the process. You just stay put and observe. Ensure that you can see their faces and test devices. Observe their facial expression, how long it takes them to complete a task, and how easy or hard the tasks are for them. Now we move to the remote form. You ask participants to share their screen so that their interactions with the product can be seen. Also, you need to tell them to put on their cameras so that you can see their facial expressions as they carry out the testing process. Also, you need to observe. You observe as the tester go about their task. You watch out for pauses in their interactions, and you make notes of questions they asked while using the prototype or while the test procedure is going on. Then after the test, you need to discuss. Once they are done with the scenarios and their tasks, you need to ask them questions on maybe how they felt while doing it. How was this stressful? Was it stressful using your product and all of that? Just to have an overview of how the test process went. Then we move to the final step of usability testing, which is to fix and iterate. You need to capture task completion. Capturing task completion is a stress-free way of documenting your findings. and this makes it easy to share findings with clients and stakeholders. Remember I said something about scoring each task and the tasks during the test. You need to assign points to completion of each task. If a user can perform the task with no trouble, assign the task completion 3 points. If a user can perform the task but with a little bit of trouble, maybe here and there, they can't find this button, they can't do this, you need to assign the task completion 2 points. If a user can't perform the task at all, you just give 1 point. Then you sum up points for all the testers per task. I'll show you in the next slide how that works. Okay, yes, this is a table showing tasks and testers. For task 1, tester 1, 2, 3 could complete the task without any trouble, like that till task 4, where tester 1 could actually complete the task but had a little issue. Do you understand? Alright, you need to fix the tasks with the lowest scores after summing them up for each task. Yes, you need to select the 3 tasks with the lowest scores. These are the top 3 biggest issues. You brainstorm ideas to solve these issues with your team. Tweak and modify your design based on these issues. And that once you tweak and modify your design, you need to perform these tests again, which brings us to the iteration part, where you have to correct all of the errors found during the first phase of testing and make sure the prototype is better. All right, so that is actually the end of the usability tests, and now I would just want to tell you what to look out for during testing, and we'll wrap it up. We'll call it a day. So what do you need to look out for during testing? You need to look out for intuitive designs. Is the prototype easy to navigate, or is the purpose of the product easy for users to understand? The ease of learning. How quickly did first time users accomplish the basic tasks? And error frequency. How often the users make mistakes while using your product? User satisfaction. Are the users actually satisfied, or do they appear to enjoy using your product? And you need to pay attention to suggestion, like did the user put forward any of the ideas on how to make the product better and all of that? Then memorability. After leaving a product interface, did the user remember enough for future visits? Okay, so these are the few things you need to look out for during testing so that you can maximize the actual test process. And that brings us to the end of the UI UX design track. I would like to say a big thank you to every one of us for joining, for being a part of this boot camp, and I wish everyone. Okay, I actually advise that you go through these videos once again, then you make your research, explore, make those mistakes, enjoy yourself, and enjoy the design process. Okay, and that's thank you from me, Emmanuel Ikweson, and that's bye for now. Peace.